This week is all about nourishment, nourishing foods, nourishing practices. Of course, that is going to mean different things for different people. It's so individual. So this week I thought I'd share 2 recipes that have provided me personally with nourishment. First being this coconut prawn curry. The only word to describe it is unbelievable. The other recipe that I'm going to share is this Harissa salmon bowl with like roasted potatoes and this really gorgeous raddicio, kind of perfect for this weather type of salad. So for all of my recipe ebooks, you can head over to my website at www.tishwonders.co.uk. Drop me a comment, let me know what you think of this week's recipes, and let's jump straight into the first one. Let's go. So we are going to get into this outrageously, like unbelievably, incredibly delicious coconut prawn curry. It is something else. Let me tell you, this one, yes. This recipe calls for some gorgeous spices, some really wow ingredients. That's going to be like the base of this curry, you'll see. So we're going to be using some cardamon seeds, pods. Actually, I use the pods whole. We're going to use some cumin seeds, some mustard seeds, some curry leaves, along with some curry powder and some turmeric. I found this turmeric paste, which I've just been obsessed with. It's so convenient. I literally just take it from the fridge and I make like tea out of it. It's incredible. So I'm going to be adding in some turmeric paste. So yeah, just think about all of the medicinal spices that are going to go into this recipe. Along with spices, I always feel like coriander is just a must-have herb with most of the curries that I cook. So we're going to be using some fresh coriander. We're going to need some red peppers. These are like the final red peppers that I found at the farmer's market. They're so beautiful. I love the color, like the green and red contrast. But of course, you can just pick up peppers anywhere. I'm just being extra in my dialogue, explaining what peppers I'm going to be using. I'm going to need some fresh lime, onions, garlic, ginger, the works, all of it. We're putting it all in, along with some coconut milk. And I'm going to be adding in some green beans just because they are divine with the prawns in this recipe. Amazing. So we're going to start off by finely dicing up our onions, just chopping as small as you can. Make sure you have a really safe knife, which means a sharp knife. We're then going to finely slice our garlic. You can chop your garlic finer if you want to. I just have random moods. Sometimes I like it chopped, sometimes I like it thick, sometimes I like it crushed. Just depends on how I'm feeling. Go ahead and chop up the ginger along with the chili. Chop the ends off of the fine beans and then finely slice up your red pepper. So yeah, for ease sake, we're just going to prep all of the ingredients beforehand. Then it's literally a case of just throw in a pan, cook down and enjoy. So into a pan, you can place some oil, you can place some ghee, you can place whatever type of fat that you want. I placed in a little bit of coconut oil. Then I placed in the spice seeds and then let it toast for about 45 seconds. You want to make sure that you don't burn the spice seeds. I followed on by placing in the chopped onions, the garlic, the ginger, chili, and I just began mixing everything well, letting all of those flavors combine and intensify. I then chopped up a few cherry tomatoes and added the fresh cherry tomatoes in, just continuing to mix everything down and cook everything well. I seasoned with some sea salt, some black pepper, and I threw in the turmeric paste along with the curry powder and the curry leaves, and just again continued mixing. Your kitchen will be smelling so heavenly. Honestly, your kitchen will be smelling amazing from all of these spices, which are just slowly cooking down in a pan. So we're going to continue by pouring in the coconut milk, throwing in the red peppers, and then just throwing in a touch of water when necessary. If things kind of thicken up too much, you can throw in a little touch of water every now and then when cooking down the sauce. So after about 10 minutes or so, I placed in the green beans, the fine green beans. So I didn't want my green beans overcooked. I wanted them to have a little bit of texture. So I made sure I just didn't overcook them. So I cooked them down for maybe like 5-6 minutes. So placing in the prawns is the last step because they're going to cook super quick, like within 3 to 4 minutes, they will be done. So let the prawns cook down in that flavor packed, coconut creamy, just so damn delicious sauce. Lift the lid up and you will be met with just one of the most stunning meals. So simple, just a few steps, Quite a few ingredients, but still simple. We're keeping it nourishing and simple this week. So I scattered in some fresh coriander and I squeezed in some lime juice. I cooked up some basmati and I served the curry with the rice. Look at this curry, just so ready to be eaten. So served up my prawn curry. I still can't get over how good this one was. If you don't eat prawns, of course you can sub for any type of protein that you enjoy, whether that be chickpeas or chicken. You can do your thing. This curry has entered like top of the list of all the curries that I've ever cooked. This one is so good. As you're all aware, connecting with my food, cooking with intention, preparing nourishing meals is one way to ensure that I feel grounded and stay grounded, especially during the colder, darker months, which I know a lot of us can find super difficult. One area that I have always personally found challenging in terms of nourishing myself is the ability to fully relax, switch off, and really, really slow down. Yeah, I find that difficult. This is where the Sensate device has been a godsend, and I'd go as far to say that it has transformed my everyday experiences. This small shaped wearable device works in toning your vagus nerve through chest vibrations that are synchronized with your chosen soundscape in the app. I like to use the Sensate device as part of my morning routine, so before I jump into work, a moment of calm can just make all the difference. I simply place the device over my head and ensure it is positioned in the correct area on my chest. It takes seconds connecting the Sensate to my phone using Bluetooth. I find a comfortable space, usually on my sofa, choose my desired soundscape and preferred vibration pattern. You can adjust this very simply through the app. Words simply cannot describe how I feel after just 10 minutes of using the Sensate. I feel an instant reduce in anxiety, a sense of safety. I have full awareness of my breathing and my focus is sharpened, that being one of the biggest benefits that I have noticed. I love how practical the Sensate is. It's super light, so it can be easily used when you're on the go, a lifesaver in this highly stimulating city of London, which I live in. This Sensate device has become a non-negotiable in my wellness routine. Whether I'm traveling, on the go, working from home, I make sure that I use my Sensate device daily. If this sounds like something of interest to you, I have a special code that you can use to receive £30 off. I will link all of the information in the description box. And just in case you're wondering, the Sensate device is available worldwide. So this recipe is a Harissa salmon, roasted sweet potato, and raddicio salad. This might just be my new favorite way to prepare salmon. It's so simple to do with just a few ingredients. It really just brings out the best of a piece of salmon. And yeah, we're going to be pairing it with these gorgeous golden roasted sweet potatoes, also a raddicio salad. Raddicio is just one of those leaves. I feel like it's a powerful superfood. Like I can feel the goodness that it does for me. So ingredients for this recipe includes salmon. I'm using like a big piece of salmon. You can get yours in kind of like smaller fillets if you want to. I'm also using a piece of wild salmon, which tends to cook a lot quicker as well. So to season up this salmon, the main ingredient is Harissa. I find Harissa just to be one of those versatile spice blends that honestly just pairs well with so many like random meals that I'll eat. This is a pre-bought Harissa paste, which is really widely available these days in supermarkets and health food shops. You can find like a really good quality Harissa, which is delicious. So for the raddicio salad, of course, we're going to need some raddicio, which is a very bitter leaf. So you have to work with it in a certain way. You need to create like a dressing to cut through the bitterness. But once you actually taste the full flavor profile of raddicio and you get into it, honestly, it's one of the most amazing kind of salad leaves that I love to incorporate as much as I can. So for our salad, we're going to toast up some walnuts, which will just like release the flavors of the walnuts and give it like a crunchy texture. I just love adding walnuts to everything. And we're also going to slice up a little bit of apple. Right now, apples are my thing. They are just bursting with flavor, in season, tasting absolutely incredible. So to begin with, we're going to combine our Harissa seasoning with a few other things. So we're going to add some Harissa into a bowl, along with some lemon zest, some crushed coriander seeds. You could definitely use powder, mixed herbs, some extra virgin olive oil, some lemon juice. We're also going to add in a little bit of honey, and we're just going to mix everything well. This is our seasoning. This is going to watch, this is gonna intensify that piece of salmon. So with your washed and like patted dry, you wanna try and get as much moisture out of the salmon. We're gonna season our salmon. So we are going to put over a good layer of salt. That's just the baseline of the seasoning. Then we're gonna add in that seasoning that we just mixed together and just literally cover the salmon from top to bottom, make sure every piece is covered. You could also very lightly score the salmon just to make sure that the flavor goes deep. I cooked mine for around 12 to 14 minutes in a 180 degrees Celsius oven. Like I mentioned earlier, wild salmon cooks a lot quicker, so just be mindful of that. If you're not using wild salmon, you will need to cook your fish for a little bit longer. But yeah, you can just remove it once it's cooked, once it's fully cooked. I said this in a previous video, but right now sweet potatoes just have my heart and they are just feeling so magical. Maybe it is this time of year. So the way that I prepare these potatoes is to briefly kind of steam them, maybe for like 7 to 8 minutes. This is just preference. You can totally miss this step. They'll still be delicious if you just chop them and put them straight into the oven. But I just like to give them a little blast just before they go into the oven. They also cook a lot quicker as well. So I seasoned my steamed sweet potato discs, kind of chunky discs, with some sea salt, some black pepper, some cumin powder, some paprika, some herb de Provence, olive oil, and just made sure every single piece of sweet potato was coated and ready to roast, ready to get crispy and golden in the oven. So once the sweet potatoes are coated, you can place them in the oven at about 200 degrees Celsius for around 20 to 25 minutes. So I placed the coated sweet potato into the oven. The oven was set to about 200 degrees Celsius and I left them in there for about 25 minutes. I forgot that I wanted to add some whole garlic cloves, so I kind of did that halfway through just because I have loads of garlic that just needs using up. So I threw in some whole garlic cloves, which is delicious once they kind of cook down and get caramelized. I removed the sweet potato and this is what it looked like, absolute perfection. So for the raddicio salad, we're just going to mix a dressing. So I placed some olive oil, some lemon juice, some sea salt, some mustard. I would usually use Dijon mustard, but I didn't have any. So I used this grain mustard, which was fine. And I also threw in a touch of honey just to cut through the bitterness of the raddicio. So preparing the actual salad just involved washing the leaves, like peeling and washing them. I don't even like to chop them. I just kind of like tear them in rough pieces. That's how I prefer my raddicio. And toasting the walnuts. The walnuts just need a little light toast. Just get a pan, heat them up. So you'll be able to kind of smell the walnuts just releasing their aromas. So yeah, just give them a good shake on a pan. And finally, chop up some fresh parsley. This is just going to make the colors, I feel like, in the salad just pop. You need a little bit of green. Make sure you slice the apples last because they're going to oxidize pretty quick. So we just want to get the dressing on them as soon as we can. So place all of the ingredients into a bowl, swirl over that dressing and just mix up everything well. And then simply serve this beautiful meal. So place on the raddicio, that roasted sweet potato. I just cut a piece of salmon. Oh, look at this. And I placed it on top of my raddicio and sweet potatoes, and so simple, so delicious. Such a vibrant, simple meal, just bursting with color, bursting with all types of textures and tastes, the bitterness from the raddicio, the crunch from the walnuts, the sweetness from the sweet potato, the spiciness from the harissa paste. Everything just ties in so beautifully. So there we have it, 2 nourishing meals to take into your week, 2 ideas. You don't have to execute them the exact same way that I did. You can just take what you want from what I've shared. Remember to share with me over on Instagram if you happen to make any of these recipes. Let me know your thoughts on these recipes in the comments. I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye.